Welcome back to the 2016 Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame Selection Show. I'm Tom Walsh, and I am very pleased to be bringing you this interview with the next and newest member of the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame as we're announcing him to the Jesuit community tonight. We've got, from the Jesuit class of 1975, Rich Rager joining us through the miracle of modern technology via the internet from up in North Carolina. Rich, congratulations on a great honor.
Well, thank you, Tom. I couldn't be more honored. I got to tell you, I was nominated 2 years ago, and I really kind of felt like it had run its course, and it kind of given up on the idea. And then I got this email from Mike Shaner, on Saturday, telling me to call him. And so I really thought it was going to be kind of a courtesy call, but tell me I didn't make the cut. So when he came out with those words, I just can't tell you how good a feeling that was. I come from football's been such a big part of my life, and to be included with such great athletes and selected with that special group, it just means a lot to me at this stage of my life. So I can't thank you enough. Well,
I'll tell you what, you're very humble. I've heard from a lot of people that you were an outstanding football player and just as good on the baseball field. We'll talk about both of those here in just a moment. But you talked about getting the email to call over to Mike Shaner. I'm sure your family was very excited to hear the news that you're being inducted into the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame. But you're not the first member of the Rager family to be inducted into a local sports Hall of Fame, are you?
That's correct. Like I said, football's been such a big part of my life, starting with my dad played a couple years at Kentucky back when Barry Bryant was a coach. And then my brother Jim was a high school All-American at Bishop Lynch in Dallas. Went on to play at Dartmouth, and he's in their Hall of Fame, as you mentioned. And then my older son, Brandon, was an All-Mountain West Conference player at San Diego State. So we're a big football family, and like I said, to be honored like this at this stage of the game is just so special for me.
Let's talk about, football is the ultimate team sport in my opinion. You obviously were a standout. I want to give some of the accolades that you achieved during the time you were here at Jesuit. You were a varsity letterman for 3 years, a captain your junior and senior year. You were TCIL All-State for 3 years as a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. Dallas Morning News, All Greater Dallas, honorable mention as a senior. Football is the ultimate team sport. Why don't you take a moment to reflect upon maybe some of those teammates that helped allow you to do what you did to be here right now?
Yeah, as you mentioned, you don't achieve individual success in football unless you have great players and coaches around you. And the 3 years I played varsity football, I think we had 7 players that went Division I. My sophomore year, Joe Eunice went to Notre Dame, Tommy Eunice. And then my junior year, Anthony Harden went to Notre Dame, and Brent Elkins went to LSU. And then my senior year, we had 4 players. Ralph McInville went to LSU. Dennis Grindinger went to Notre Dame. And then Craig Pride, whose dad Charlie was a pretty good country and western singer, he went to University of Memphis, and then I went to Arkansas State. So, I mean, for a school of 750 kids to have that kind of D1 talent, I thought was pretty strong.
Yeah, you mentioned Dennis Grindinger and Tom Eunice among the people that you just mentioned. Of course, they're both members of the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame, and here you are, yet another member of one of those great Jesuit football teams joining the Hall of Fame. And it was a great football team, a great football program led by really one of the legendary high school football coaches in the state of Texas, if not the country. And of course, I'm talking about the great Gary Pasquay. Talk about Coach Pasquay and what he's meant to you.
Well, Coach Pasquay was everything Jesuit. I mean, he stood for everything that Jesuit stands for. He was, and I'm sure the people that have come before me will testify to that. But he was just such a great human being. more so than a great coach to me. And he wasn't that progressive, a coach. I think we had 6 plays on offense. He liked that philosophy KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And but he ground those into us every day, and just taught me a lot of good life lessons. And although I haven't talked to Coach, in many years, I can promise you he's in my head a lot, and he's just one of the real strong role models that I've had in my life. So I hope I get to see him. I understand he's having some health trouble now, but I certainly hope I get to see him. Let me tell you the kind of guy he was. When I was a senior, I'm 5'8", 190-pound kind of guy. I wasn't real tall, and I was having trouble getting interest. He made a highlight tape for me. That was back in the day when it was reel to reel, so you had to splice and cut, and put. It had to take him hours to do that, and he had no reason to do that for me, and yet he did it. And that's pretty much what got me my scholarship. And I'll always be thankful for him for that. And that just kind of shows you the kind of person he was and is. And I just feel honored to have played for him.
Well, that is a wonderful story. And, of course, the members of the Jesuit community know well about Coach Pasquay and the football field itself, his name, Gary Pasquay Field. But that is a great story. We're speaking right now with Rich Rager, from the Jesuit class of 1975, another Jesuit Sports Hall of Famer that was inducted last year. A young man from East Dallas like yourself, Ted Tobolka, gave us a quote, and he said, and I want to look at my notes here, but he said that Rich Rager is second to none. Second to none. Pretty high praise from a guy that is very well respected, not only as a member of the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame, but also as a person that's done so much for the Jesuit Alumni Letterman's Club and the Sports Hall of Fame itself. What does it mean when you hear of someone like Ted Tobolka talk about you like that?
Well, Ted was an East Dallas guy like me in McIngvale. So, his 2 brothers actually went to Bishop Lynch, and one was just a couple years later than when my brother went there. So I know the Tobolka family well, and they were very well respected. And Ted was one of my favorites. I think he was 2 or 3 years under me, but he was a great pitcher, man. I mean, he had a lot of guts and was a great competitor. And I always admired Teddy because he was the third in line. His 2 older brothers were great athletes too at Bishop Lynch.
Just like yourself, with your brother, a great athlete at Bishop Lynch, and then you coming over here and being a star at Jesuit. Let's move to the diamond, if we can, the baseball diamond. You were great in football, but you were equally great in baseball. That's what I heard. People said, look, as great as he was in football, he was all that and then some on the baseball field. TCIL All-State as a junior, a varsity letterman for 3 years, and I know that you were very close to your coach, Coach Randy Centeny. And before we conclude the interview, why don't you have a chance to talk about Coach Centeny?
Yeah, I don't know if close would be a good description because he was just a cool guy. He never, although he had a temper, he showed it by his eyes would get real big and he'd get fire in his eyes. But he was such a competitor that he kind of coached where you had a little fear. You didn't want to mess up because where he was going to come at you, but. He was just such a hard worker, and he was a young guy, and we just all really respected him. I'll tell you another story. It's a little off color, but you may need to edit it a little bit. But when my sophomore year, we were opening district at Bishop Lynch at their place, and we were taking infield, and we were just nervous as could be. We were missing cutoffs, missing throws to first base, and just really tight. And so we, after taking infield, we all went back to the dugout. And, he's kind of pacing back and forth, and we're sitting there, wondering where this was going to go. And all of a sudden he looks up, and he says, you guys are so tight, I couldn't drive a pin up your nose with a sledgehammer, but he didn't use the word nose. And everybody just kind of broke up, broke the tension, and we went on to win big. But that's he didn't have many words, but when he did speak, you paid attention, and he always got good results.
Well, that was a great story, and I think that it will pass the FCC standards. We'll be able to leave that one in. Rich, before we let you go, and we so appreciate you taking some time to visit with us tonight, as you reflect upon beyond the athletic arena and talk about the Jesuit experience as a whole, what comes to mind?
Oh, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. As a matter of fact, I was just so fortunate to get to go to Jesuit. You know, I started my freshman year at Bishop Lynch, and then I transferred. And I can't tell you how much I thank my father for making that move, because it really turned out well. It really prepared me for life, and just being a part of the Jesuit community with that tradition and the way they go about preparing men for adulthood was really beneficial to me, and I'll just never forget it.
Rich, congratulations on a fantastic honor. Rich Rager from the class of 1975. You can come watch Rich and his fellow inductees on May the 7th, 2016 at the Jesuit Sports Hall of Fame banquet. I believe we call it the Blue and Gold banquet these days. You can call Sean McMullen up here at school, and he can get you set up with tickets, or you can go on to the Jesuit website. Rich, congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Dallas on May 7th.